Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. So as you can see, I actually have my first special guest and I'm delighted to say that my dad, Howard, is here to help me to cook today. We're actually cooking, this is during Thanksgiving time, and we're looking at a rare treat. So not very many people know how to make cornbread stuffing. And so he's agreed to share his amazing recipe with us today. So I will say, and oftentimes you've heard me refer to my dad, I'll say this is my dad recipe and I do this, I do that. And so he's been a great cook. Now, where did you first learn how to cook, Dad?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Did your mom teach you?
Yep.
Your mom taught you. And then if I recall, you used to work in a restaurant as well, correct?
Yep. Franklin Tea Room in New Jersey.
In New Jersey. And what kind of things did you cook there?
It was fancy dinners.
Fancy dinners. Okay, sounds good. But he learned some amazing things. And as I've often said, you know, there are people who cook by a recipe and then those people that just cook. So he taught me how to just cook, and I'm very grateful to him for all that he showed me up to this point. So Dad, I'm going to actually kind of turn it over to him. I'm going to be his assistant today. And so take it away, Dad. What are we going to start with to make this cornbread stuffing?
Just the cornbread, not the stuffing yet.
Okay, right.
Remember this cornbread?
That's, yep.
2 hands full of cornmeal.
2 handfuls of cornmeal. Okay, awesome. Now notice he said 2 handfuls of cornmeal. So that's cooking versus measuring. That comes out to about, I think, about 2 cups, would you say? About 2 cups. And then what else do we have?
A handful of flour.
Handful of flour, that's about a 1/2 cup of flour. So we measured that out. All right, and what else we've got? And while you're doing that, I know we have some eggs going, so I'm gonna go in and do the eggs while you're telling them what else we're adding.
2 teaspoonfuls of baking powder.
Okay.
2 teaspoonfuls of vegetable oil.
Okay, and didn't we add an extra little something? So it's about 3 tablespoons?
Right.
About 3 tablespoons.
Right.
Okay, awesome. All right. And we scrambled 2 eggs.
2 eggs are going in.
Okay.
And the stirring began.
Okay, and so we don't put the salt in yet, or we do the salt?
Forgot about the salt.
Okay,
Put
all
some
right.
salt in.
Put just a dash of salt. So this is one of those things, again, a dash here, and there you go. Okay,
Right.
It wasn't enough, so he's going to take it off and do a little extra.
Right.
So it's about a pinch of salt, you would say. Looks
Right.
like about a teaspoon, actually.
Okay.
Okay. And then this is milk. Now we like using low fat 1%, so this is actually 1%. We're starting with 2 cups, and then I know you told me that it may be a little more, so we've got to go by texture, right?
Right. Might
Okay.
be a little more and might be a little less.
Okay, so let's see what happens.
Put your fingers right in there.
Awesome.
Start adding the milk.
Okay.
Start working it.
All right. You're working it. And I think while you're working it, I'm going to go on and get the frying pan, so I'll have that ready for you.
Okay.
So we've got a cast iron frying pan that we're using, and as you can see, we've put oil, and we actually use canola oil, so it's canola oil that was used a little earlier, a much better oil, a little healthier. But as you can see, we've kind of, you know, made sure that there's oil in the cast iron frying pan. This looks good. He tried my cornbread that I showed you guys how to make a few weeks ago, and he enjoyed it. So he's my critic. If he says it's good, then you know it's good.
Stir it till it gets smooth.
pretty nice. Again, this is a real treat for me because I've seen him make it a gazillion times, but I never wrote down the recipe, so. And it's important, and we'll show you kind of the texture. He was saying it's smooth. We'll kind of let you see the texture of it as well. So, very nice. So it's not soupy, right, Dad?
Nope.
It's just kind of like a pancake mix,
Right.
would you say?
Right.
About the texture of pancakes.
Right. Yep.
So we're, this is a specialty here. All right, so we're gonna go on now and pour it in. Again, this is actually step one, so we have to make the cornbread first, as he mentioned, and then we're going to do this in a couple of stages because we're going to put this in the oven, and then we'll use a cornbread to mix with other things to make the actual stuffing. About what temperature did you have the oven set on?
About 350.
350. And about how long do we keep that in the oven?
Till it gets golden brown.
Golden brown. Okay, so what we'll do is we can wash that a little later, Dad. He's like me, likes keeping things clean, you know, as we go. So why don't you go and put that in the oven? We've got it at 350. And about how long are we keeping it in the oven for? Till it's golden brown.
Right.
That's right. Okay. So golden brown. We'll time it now, and once we, you know, kind of say it again, I've shared with you all before. Largely depends upon your oven. 350 in my oven might yield something slightly different. So we'll clean that up in a second, Dad. You don't have to worry about that right now. And so we actually didn't use the full 2 cups, so looks like we used about a cup of milk, and so that'll kind of help you, but I'll write down the ingredients for you as well. So we're gonna give it time to cook, and then we'll come back, so we'll see you shortly. Okay, so we're back. We're at phase 2 now. We made the cornbread, and Dad, if I could, yeah, if you would show that to the camera, and you can just see how golden beautiful that is. Sometimes I would cheat, Dad, don't you remember? And I'd take and eat some of the cornbread and put some butter on it, so I would cheat a little bit. So I'm not going to cheat today, so we can use all of the cornbread. So what do we do next now, Dad? I know we have a couple of things here. We've got 1 egg that I've already scrambled. We have 2 stalks of celery that's been chopped up, and 1 onion. And we also have here some cooked turkey necks. And so I know you've started breaking that apart, but what do you do next, Dad, to now bring it all together?
Crumb the bread up. And while I crumb the bread up, you take the meat off of there.
Okay,
And
all
we'll
right.
get together.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so you can kind of see this. So I'm going to take the meat off of the turkey necks. Now he actually cut, oh, you want to show that?
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
That looks really good.
And then you just take it and crumble it up.
Okay, just crumble it up with your hands. And again, here you go. We've got some, this is real cooking, right? Because you got to do everything with your hands.
Right.
So we use, basically you can get these turkey necks in your grocery store, and you just boil them actually. Put enough water in the pan or in a pot to cover it, and it takes about how long would you say on average to cook these really well?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours. So you may find that you have to add some more water to it. So, you know, you just kind of keep working it. And then also we added a 32-ounce container of chicken broth. So what you'll see, my hands are kind of messy right now, and so I'll clean them here in a second, but what I'll do is I'll show you the gravy that came out of it. So we're going to use some of the juice.
This stock.
That stock. Okay, got it. All right, so now I'm going to take some of this turkey, meat off the turkey necks. This actually came out pretty well. Just pull it apart like that, right, Dad?
And let's cut through it.
Just cut through it. This is the real deal. This is not stovetop stuffing. This is the real deal. And it takes time. We cook the cornbread for about an hour or so, but as he said, you know, you're just really kind of working it to get to a certain color, kind of that golden brown. You certainly want to make sure it's cooked thoroughly. And I think, did I do a good enough job here? That?
Yeah.
I think I've cut that pretty well.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to put this over here for you. And, okay. And then I'll take the bones off and get them out of the way. So this is ready for you.
Okay, now shake this
You
out.
want me to, okay. You just, okay. I'll put that here so I can wash my hands and you can do the rest.
Okay.
So, and I'll come back over.
I'm gonna take the turkey. Curtis laughing again. Take the turkey neck, add it in.
Okay. Looks good.
Save a little bit for the gravy.
Okay.
2 eggs.
One egg. One egg.
One egg.
One egg. So here, also here, I'll give this to you. This is, before you put that in there, this is kind of the this is the broth that came from the turkey necks that were cooked, which was water first, enough to cover them, cook them down for about 2 hours, and then you add the chicken broth to add to the taste. And then we saved some of this so that this is going to go into the gravy. So we're going to show you how to cook the gravy in another segment, but this is part of what we'll keep. And then you need me to put some oil in here too, don't you?
Right.
Okay. So
All
go
the
for
pan.
that. Okay.
Then we're gonna add the celery and the onion.
Okay. I'm going to oil the pan here. Just take some. Okay.
And we're gonna start the broth.
Okay. So we're usually probably going to use about, what would you say, about 2 cups to get started?
Yep, 2 cups to get started. The bread gonna soak up a lot of it.
Okay. So now that's probably, that's about 2.5, almost at least 3 cups now.
Yep. It's gonna take a lot because the bread then you move it around
Okay.
and see how it's coming along.
Yep, that looks good. Let's move this around so they can see that pretty well.
Oh, this is gonna be a lot of it too, you know?
Yeah, looks good. All right. So this is that tender loving care. Again, you know, I heard someone say they were gonna make some cornbread and or some stuffing, and they said, "Oh, what are you gonna make it with?" And they said bread, and I thought, never had stuffing with bread, but this is the real deal. It takes a long time, absolutely, but it's well worth it. And it looks so delicious and so healthy. Again, this is the Southern way of cooking, right, Dad? Mm-hmm. Looks really, really good, very rich. No spoons here, people. Gotta use those hands, so make sure your hands are clean and your nails are clean. It's too late for you to look at them now, Dad.
My nails are clean.
Good. The nails needed to be clean before we started this episode. Everyone had clean hands. I've got clean nails. I actually cut my nails just the other day. Some people have asked me, "Well, you don't keep your nails really long." I said, "Yeah, because I cook and clean." So.
A little taste, see the need and salt.
Okay. What do you think?
Nope.
Nope. Just
Yep.
perfect.
Just
maybe a dash.
A dash.
A dash. Okay.
A little dab do it.
Okay. Do we need to add any pepper to it, or we're good to go?
Just a little bit.
Just a little pepper.
I don't need that much.
Okay. And Angela, by the way, thank you for the advice on the shaker. So I've decided to purchase these. So when you need to add salt or pepper just for the little, you're doing it to this taste, I upgraded my containers. I appreciate my friends trying to help me to improve my thing. Is
Put
that
a little
enough
more- put a
grease?
little more oil
You
in
need a
it.
little more oil?
Not grease, oil.
Oil. That's right. This is a canola oil. How's
Right.
that?
That's good.
That works? Okay.
Hold
Awesome.
on. Okay. Ready for the pan.
Yep, we're ready. And we kept the oven on 350, so it's actually ready for us. So we're gonna put all of this in, and then we'll put it back in the oven.
And you're gonna have a little stuff over for yourself next week.
Oh, is that gonna be for me for next week?
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm gonna tell you this little secret. So while he's doing that, I didn't realize I was gonna have this real treat. But remember, I'm always trying to freeze things. So hold on. I'm gonna come back here. And what I tend to do is just use, a pie crust pan. We're gonna do the same thing that we did with the regular. I'm gonna just take my fingers here. All of these fingers. All right, so what we do is, when Dad makes it, he makes enough for one leftover. And then what I usually do is I put this in a freezer bag and I put it in the freezer. And so next week or week after next, when I want to have homemade stuffing, I can actually have my own homemade stuffing. And what do you do with those fingers? I know that's something that he does a lot.
You don't want to pat it down. You want
Don't pat it.
You want to stand up.
Okay, so you're kind of putting the little impressions in there. I'm going to do that here with my little mini version. But this is pretty awesome. All right, it looks beautiful. What do you think?
I think it's good.
I think this is awesome. So we're gonna put it in the oven now, Dad, back at the 350.
Yeah.
And about how long do you think we're gonna have
Just
this
till it
cooked?
dry out a little and brown a little on the top. And
Okay.
the onion get done. It's finished.
Okay, awesome. So we're gonna go on, put this back in the oven. You wanna put it back in the oven, Dad?
Yep.
Okay. And then we will put this in a freezer bag. And this is gonna be for a future time. We don't have to go through all of that work. And then we'll be able to have this and serve it. So in our next episode, what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you how to make that homemade gravy. So it's using part of the broth that we had left over. We're going to use some of the juice from the turkey that we'll make, and then we'll have, and some of, again, the turkey necks that left over. So we can just leave that there. What do you think? It's going to be delicious?
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So we'll come back once it finishes cooking, just so that you can see the color and texture. Maybe we'll do a little taste test.
Right.
And see how it looks. So stay tuned. Okay, so we've had the cornbread now in the oven, Dad, for about an hour, hour and a half. Would you say? It's about right.
Right.
But it still always comes down to the look. So is it nice and golden brown? That's what we're gonna look for. So Dad's gonna go in and take it out of the oven. So he'll bring it over to us so we can take a look at it. We've kind of been keeping an eye on it. Again, this is one of my favorite dishes for sure. And so I actually have a little spoon here because I get to do the sampling. So you can put it right there, Dad. And what I would say is just tilt it up a little bit so that they can see it in the camera. You can see how beautiful, and oh my God, the aroma is so good. But you can see how beautiful it's turned out. So typically we will wait till it gets hot. Till it cooled down a little bit, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna go on and take a little bit. Come stay over here with me. We'll turn that off in a minute. So let's just kind of see. He's getting nervous. He's like, oh, how is it looking? And typically, you add some gravy to it or whatever. And as I said, we'll do the gravy in another segment. But let me take a taste. You did it again. What can I say? Another masterpiece. You've got it, Mr. Cole. You got it. All right, so thanks again for tuning in. Did you enjoy doing that, Dad?
Yeah, it was
I
great.
really
I
enjoyed
enjoyed it.
having my dad as my special guest. So tune in again to the next Chef Shelley's Kitchen. Until then, be sure, share, share, share. Take care. Bye-bye.